I'm back, baby. 2 weeks on, and the Opie-verse is here once again. Thank you for everybody who's joining me this evening and joining us, because I'm pretty excited for tonight. We've been trying to get this guest on for a while. Time difference is an issue, but we made it. And do you know what? Even with the time difference, I'm pleased to see she's joining me in a drink. But we'll get to that in a second anyway. So, what's been going on? Obviously, I've been in Ibiza for a couple of weeks, which was rather splendid, even if it was in October. Plenty of drink, plenty of food, plenty of relaxation. Feel ready to go, ready for the run into Christmas. Do you know what? If you haven't seen already, I read, and I like to read, but I never give myself the chance to read. I read Dark Disciple, which I have read before. It's over there somewhere. Have read it before, but only in sections, where this time I had read it cover to cover and absolutely loved it. And I had to just sit for 10 minutes at the end of it. I won't spoil anything, but if you haven't read it, I definitely recommend, especially if you're a Clone Wars fan, definitely recommend that. Read a few comic books as well, thanks to our friend Henry Calvert. And Henry and I did a bit of a co-host on TikTok, and he gave me a load of comic books to read. I didn't get into any of the Marvel stuff, if you were watching, but I managed to get through quite a bit of the Star Wars stuff. Again, all canon stuff really helps pack our characters out, and as Star Wars fans, can't recommend it enough. Since I've been back, well, the day I flew home, the Double Points event kicked off with Lego, which was very well received. I've been waiting for it. I was sat in Ibiza airport, waiting to board my flight, whipped my MacBook out and ordered, and they're here. They're over there. I'm not going to get them, but they're over there, and you probably know, but I got Vader's Castle at long last. It's not due to retire. It's not officially retiring, but it's going to retire. And I got the Ear Wing, which is officially retiring. So I just got to know where to put them, because like what you see behind you is pretty indicative of like this whole showering unit, but enough about that. What else? I bought a new mic, so hopefully this sounds a little bit better. I've massively upgraded my mic. I dropped a video earlier on just for my own benefit more than anything else, whereby I did a comparison between my old Amazon budget mic, my MacBook inbuilt mic, and then the new Blue Yeti, which I have. Hopefully it's good. It's got a whole host of settings, and I need to play around with them to get that sweet spot. But that's a bit of an investment on my part out of the Lego fund. But finally, I've not long been back, and I won't spoil it whatsoever, but just been to see Venom as well, and really enjoyed it. I'll probably go and see it again before I kind of make an opinion on it. But yeah, new mic, making an ASMR channel. I might indeed. That wouldn't be that like Lego ASMR. It would be a nice thing to do. It is currently on stereo, so I don't know what that means for you guys. Especially if you sat with headphones on, I don't know if it makes any difference. You tell me. As I say, I need to play around with it, and we'll go from there. But it's looking good. But anyway, that's enough about me. You hear enough about me. And no doubt over the next hour and a half, we'll talk about me quite a bit as well, because I like talking about me. But let's bring in our guest. You may know her as Ellie. You probably more than likely know her as Bricks and Bimbos. But she is here with us today. Ellie, Bricks and Bimbos.
Welcome Hello. To the I'm here.
At long last. So, bit of a running joke, but we were going to have you on before the break. Mm-hmm. And you had a last minute clash, so we didn't want to rush it, so we postponed. We made that executive decision to postpone, and then we had 5 minutes before we started the stream, we thought it was all going to go wrong.
God. Yeah.
But we're here. That's the most important thing. You're here. How the devil are you?
I'm doing good. It's only 2 p.m. for me here. You already know this.
What do you have in your hand?
I'm drinking a gin and tonic at 2 p.m. I'm going to get off of this. And
when did you start drinking? Well, that's the question.
1:45, 15 minutes ago.
Did you neck a drink before you started that one, or is that your first drink?
I didn't. I was thinking about it, but I was like,
Or
I'm
if
gonna
it's
go
you're
all
like
the way
looking
through.
off to the side, you're just doing like tequila shots.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, cool. Well, I've gone for, in honor of you, we're talking about, but
Be
I'm for
American.
a Miller. I do like a Miller though. It's really hard to come by in the UK. Just nobody really stocks it. So I saw it and I thought, why not? Why not? But yeah, where are you? You're like Colorado or something, aren't you?
I'm in Colorado, yeah. I go to school here.
So are you from Colorado? So are you there and there, or are you, because you American, like, well, if American TV shows and movies tell us anything, people have like to go off to college and like find themselves and be like, so are you doing that, or are you in Colorado?
I'm from Texas.
Oh, I didn't
I
know that.
probably am associated with the 3 most known American states. I'm from Texas. My parents live in Florida. I go to Colorado. I go to school in Colorado.
Oh, surely California is more known than Colorado. I know
That's
Colorado,
fair.
but
That's fair.
yeah,
Yeah.
and New York, but I feel like everybody knows New York for the city, not the state. But yeah, it's
Yeah. Colorado is what Europeans think of when they think of
South Park.
I was gonna say skiing, but yeah, I guess South Park.
Well, South Park and Aspen from Dumb and Dumber.
Yeah. No, I've
Like
not seen Dumb and Dumber.
Like that's basically it. But a little known fact. Well, I don't know how much of this is fact. I know there is some logic here, but you have British origins as well, don't you?
I was born in England. I'm a dual citizen.
Where in England are you from as well? Because this will go with that. You don't obviously get the county if you want.
I was born in Harrogate. My mom's from
She's
Sheffield.
a Yorkshire lass.
My mom's from Sheffield, and now my whole family lives in like Derbyshire.
Derbyshire. Derby.
Or
Dar.
when my grandma says it with the accent. Sorry.
Derbyshire. So if you know the Star Wars guys, he's from Nottingham. And Nottingham's like arch rivals of Derby because they're like on each other's doorstep. So, but I feel like that's not really a surprise because of how small England is, really. But
yeah, where are you from? You're near Harrogate, right?
I'm not far from Harrogate. So when I go on my bike, I do kick around Harrogate way. So I'm about an hour north of Harrogate. So not as far as Newcastle, which is probably the one that sticks in your head, but I'm like 20 minutes drive from Newcastle. So
yeah, in a month and 2 days, I'm gonna be in your corner of the woods.
So that's what I was going to ask, because I know it was a while ago. It was when I very first found out that you had this British heritage, and essentially that you're English. But you did say that you're looking to. There you go, Will's Workshop. It's a small world, Ellie. It's a small world. But yeah, I know you'd said that you were planning on coming over, but with travel restrictions, and they've only just announced it. But you're still coming?
Yeah, I'm still coming, November 19th.
What? How long are you here for?
There for a week. We're gonna be in.
It's a long way to go for a week.
Yeah, we're gonna be there. Well, it's my Thanksgiving break, so it's like the only time I get off school.
Okay.
Yeah. We're gonna be in like the Peak District mainly because that's now where all my family's concentrated.
Okay. Again, not far from me.
But... No, I think the exact little town my grandparents live in, it's tiny. It's like Bakewell.
Bakewell, yeah. I know Bakewell.
That's where my grandparents live. So that's where I'll be.
Cumbria.
Huh?
Is that Cumbria?
I don't know.
Yeah, rings a bell. Before we get into this though, because this is bang on topic, I've got a small bone to pick with you.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, to be honest, I've probably got about 12 bones to pick with you, given all the grief that you've given me over the weeks and months. But one in particular that is quite recent. So let me just, hopefully this will work, and I'll just kind of best articulate it through this. I don't know if the sound will work. Back. So, point to Chicago on a map. I mean, that's easy. I mean, if you're going to give me that one, right, it's easy.
Yeah. Okay.
But like, you had your chance. You haven't come back on me at that one. So, given your English heritage, I'm going to ask you for your opinion on like 3 things.
Okay.
And it's not, there's no right or wrong answer, but there's absolutely right and wrong answers here. So
Okay.
it's not like sing our national anthem, because like that's shit. Like that doesn't define Englishness at all. So I know you know what Greg's is.
Oh yeah, I love it.
What is your Greg's order?
A sausage roll.
A sausage roll?
Mm-hmm.
Good shout. Safe bet. It's a bit shit at the minute, to be honest, because I love a corned beef pasty, or it's a bake. There's a whole political thing around calling them pasties now, but there's no corned beef because of shortages and all that. So sausage roll is the place to go.
Mm-hmm. I've heard there's a vegan sausage roll.
Do you know? Like, look at me. Nothing about me says vegan, right?
I was vegan for 4 years. Can you?
Were you? Yeah. What brought you back?
I think it's kind of obvious. I needed salt in my food. I needed like flavor again.
Salt isn't an animal product.
I know, but there's like a different savory kind of salty flavor when you're eating like meat, you know, than tofu.
See, I feel like substitutes aren't the way to go. Like, I don't like the idea of, like, if you're going to go vegan, like, embrace the plants. Like, instead of having tofu, have beans. Like, I quite like a black bean, or even like a bean burger. They work very well. Tofu is just weird. But yeah, back to the vegan sausage roll. I prefer a vegan sausage roll over a sausage roll.
Interesting.
I mean, they're not healthy. They are not healthy. But a sausage roll it's got an element of grease to it that you always have. It's just a little bit cleaner. It's like I don't know, goes down quite well. So give it a try when you're over here. I think you'll enjoy it.
I will in a month.
What was the other one I had? I definitely had a third one. But the third question I was going to ask is the one I can remember, so I'm going to ask it as my second question.
All right.
But how do you make a cup of tea?
So my mom and my dad don't drink coffee; they drink tea. So I think I got this. You boil your water in a kettle. I'm saying that because I saw a TikTok once of someone boil it in a saucepan.
Yeah.
For tea, and everyone was like, "What is wrong with you?" So you boil it in a little kettle. Tea bag in Yorkshire tea.
There you go. You can stop. There's probably nothing else. You can continue, but there's probably nothing else you need to see, because Yorkshire tea is, like, a lot of people will say you've got it right. But let's see, a tea bag in, kettle's boiled. Continue.
Well, then this is how my parents do it. Is you do like a little spoon of sugar, and
that's fine. Sugar is optional. Milk before the water, or water?
No, after the water.
Milk before tea bag comes out, or milk after tea bag comes out?
Actually, my dad is really picky about this, but I can't remember what order he does it in.
Yeah, it's a thing.
I can't. I'm like,
apparently I do it wrong, but
what do you do?
So I put the milk in before I take the tea bag out, because then you've got the tea bag in to balance because I'm all about the color. Like, I need the right color of tea. So if you put a little bit too much milk in, you've still got the tea bag in to give it that little bit of strength back. Whereas a lot of people do tea bag out, I think, and then put the milk in. But if you balance, like, in that respect, if you get it wrong, tea bag's in the bin, you have to start again.
I think my dad does it the same way you do it.
He's a wise man. He's a wise man. I feel like I don't even need to ask that third question. You've passed the test. So
I want to know what it was.
I know.
You can't remember.
It'll come to me like half an hour in. I'll be like, there we go. But we're not here to talk about sausage rolls. We're not here to talk about all that. Well, we can talk about whatever you want, really. It doesn't have to be about Lego and all that. But you are a big Lego fan. You are a big Lego collector. And actually, I think you dropped a video this week where you kind of flexed a little bit more of your collection than you usually would. And I always knew and appreciated because I kind of see you behind the scenes a little bit. So I always see kind of what you've got your eye on, what you're buying, but really saw you like that video that showed your collection. But yeah, like where does your Lego days start? And how did it start?
Yeah, so I only have a little brother, that's my only other sibling, and my mom's kind of a tomboy. So my entire family, I mean, this is gonna sound kind of messed up, but like is focused around like boys stuff. So like my friends growing up would watch like the girly Disney Channel like teenage shows. And I'm not kidding, like me and my little brother would watch like Clone Wars, Cartoon Network nonstop. And because we loved, my dad showed me the Phantom Menace when I was like 2 years old. Probably shouldn't have done that. Probably scarred me.
Which part?
The whole thing. Actually, I feel like it was Attack of the Clones that might have scarred me a little more. Does Anakin go crazy on the
Sand people? Yeah.
That in Attack of the Clones?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like I clearly remember that. You know those TikToks where it's like when you gain consciousness?
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the moment when I gained consciousness because I like vividly remember being too young to see that. But I was always really into Star Wars, and then like when the Harry Potter movie started coming out, I was probably like 5. Ooh. When like they really started getting traction. And so then
I was gonna say I think I was at like
30.
I was about ready to fuck off. I was about ready to leave senior school when they started. But I remember all the books hadn't come out, so maybe I'd need to look that up and just see when Philosopher's Stone, not the Sorcerer's Stone, because that's the dumbed down shitty name. The Philosopher's Stone. I would need to look that up and find out when that came out. I'll do that actually. But yeah, it's scary. Anyway, continue.
When the Harry Potter books really started gaining traction, I was probably in like late elementary school. And at that time, that's when like Lego sets really started getting good. Like you started getting those early Clone Wars era sets. You got some of the more like buildings Harry Potter sets. Like you had like the Shrieking Shack and like, Diagon Alley, like the first Diagon Alley. Those were great sets.
Yeah.
And my dad just started buying Lego for me and my little brother. Probably more for my little brother at first, I'm not gonna lie. And then I was just the one playing with it. And I've loved it since. I think people, when I shared that Harry Potter collection thing, I think people don't realize how much Lego I actually have.
I mean, as I see it, I speak to you behind, like, I didn't think I'd be shocked. Like, not shocked, no, I was certainly surprised, just more because we don't see it. Like, we know you're a Lego collector. And I think when you do your kind of hardcore Lego content, it tends to be more your Bricklink stuff, more like or buying bits and bobs, but we never get to see like your collection. But is a lot of it at home with you being at school or?
Yeah, so it's like the same problem. I remember one time Callum Rowlow got a comment that was like
Rolo, not Rowlow. Rolo. He's in the suite. Rolo, yeah.
Isn't his name actually Callum?
Callum, yeah. Okay. Callum Rowlandson, I think.
Oh, it's his last name? I've always wondered what that is. Okay.
Yeah.
Rolo. He posted a TikTok. Someone like commented something mean on his post, and they were like, "Dude, you can't even call yourself a Lego collector. You don't have any Lego." And he was like, "It's all at my parents' house," and that's how I am. Like,
yeah,
I live in a tiny room. Like this room is like maximum 100 square feet, maximum. And so I cannot keep a lot of Lego in here. So it's all at my parents' house, and I don't go back there much. So I never get to like show it off.
And instead of going home for Thanksgiving, you come in.
Yeah. I'm crossing the pond.
And you're buying a buttload of magazines, I believe what you said.
Oh my God. I was actually going to reach out to a few of my British friends and ask, like, if I'm going to be in kind of like these small little towns. Like I doubt Bakewell will have like a magazine shop. Where do I go to get these?
We're British here, man. Like we love a magazine. Like we live off newsagents. Like yeah, we will have that. I suppose it's. I'm trying to think of the timing.
Are the
So
Legos sold in like every single little news stop?
if you went to like, because a lot of like smaller villages have like a micro or a mini supermarket, like one of the big branded supermarkets like Tesco, Morrison's, Asda, Sainsbury's, they will have them in. Co-op, as JB Bricks has swooped in there. Thank you, JB. But yeah, like those big branded stores tend to have like smaller brand, and JB probably has Googled that for you, but Co-op are good for the magazines.
Okay.
So potentially they have, but the biggest problem you might face is timing, because the smaller stores will get lesser stock in. So if you're there just before they're about to renew, it could well be that they're kind of fresh out. But if you're, what did you say, like a month and 2 days? So
yeah, I'm gonna get there on November 20th.
Okay, so you'll probably be about 2 weeks after the Star Wars magazines have come out.
Okay. We drive. We don't take the train. My dad's obsessed with driving over there, and so we rent a car in London and we drive up. So we stop at many rest stops. So we'll probably be fine.
Oh, the rest stops will definitely have, like the truck stops, like the service stations will absolutely have them in, especially if I imagine if it is where I think it is, going up the M6.
Yeah.
Like you'll be fine. But yeah, just get all over them, take them back, fill your suitcase. And then, so what are you going for? Because I'm trying to think again what you'll have, because so this week coming, we should be getting the new Avengers magazine.
Mm-hmm.
So you should be getting here just in time for the release of the Batman magazine, because the Avengers and Batman alternate month on month.
I forgot about
Batman's
that.
Your thing.
Yeah.
And I think it is a Batman as well, this one, rather than one of the villains.
Oh, cool.
But you might time it well in the right shop, that when you land, also check the airport out. The airport with WH Smith's in the airport will definitely have them in, both on your way in and out. But yeah, you've got Batman and Avengers, Star Wars, City XL, Explorer, and Ninjago.
You guys get Jurassic World ones?
Yes, we do. They come out less often, I think.
Okay.
But yeah, we do. We get those as well. So
awesome.
One for choice.
Now I know what to do. My dad's gonna make so much fun of me.
Yeah, you just sell it as business. Like, I'm buying them to sell. I'm buying them to sell. There you go, Darth Walkeners. They are literally are like WH Smith's is pretty much in every service station. So yeah, it's you'll do all right there. But no, they're cool. It's weird because obviously I post and a lot of others in the UK post every time they come out, and we do get a lot of comments from your kind of fellow Americans and Canadians who are like, oh, where do I find these? Like, you know, like, sorry, you can't get them. And the biggest problem we have is to ship them over. It probably costs about $13, $14, maybe even $15. And then by that time, it's like, is it really worth it for a magazine and a little poly bag? But for you can just kind of leave your clothes behind and just fill up 20 kilos of magazines.
I've looked up, there's like a service that sends them to the US for you when they come out. And it is it's like $30 a month if you want to get one of the magazines every month. I don't know what that is in pounds, but it is, yeah, it's ridiculous.
Nah, that's no good. That's no good. I mean,
there are some Lego TikTokers that pay for that. That's how I know about it.
Nah, I wouldn't be paying for that. So like Maticus and Brick and Mad, I was kind of scooping them up for those guys, because with FedEx, it's quite what's really good with FedEx is you pay for a box, a certain size box, and then you can pay up to a certain weight and it doesn't matter, like rather than kind of a specific size. So we were literally just filling a box up over the course of like 3 months, and then I was shipping them out to them, and then they would then ship it internally. But I think again, when I was speaking to them, they were paying, so I would see like ship it to Maddie. Maddie would kind of take her half out and then ship it on to Maticus. But in doing that, Maddie was paying nearly as much as I'd pay to ship them across the pond as she was to send them, like, from Ohio to New Jersey isn't that far. So
No, yeah.
but
The USPS,
America.
yeah, the United States Postal Service, our prices are insane. I mean, I know that's because I sell through Bricklink, but some people will order like $6 worth of bricks, and then the shipping will be $4. And this package is not even an ounce, maybe an ounce exactly, and it costs $4 to ship it across the country. It is kind of ridiculous.
Yeah. I suppose that's a good thing about living on a teeny tiny island. Comparatively, it's all the same. Unless you ship into the Highlands of Scotland, apparently the Great Britain stops like halfway up Scotland, and then they're like, "Nah, you've got to pay more to go a bit higher." But it is what it is. How did you get into the Bricklink stuff then?
Because I had so much that I was like, I'm talking about, I've had this collection since I think my first set that I got that was actually like a substantial set and not like a battle pack or something was probably in like 2007, 2008. And so I have Lego pretty much every year from 2008 until now. And I have so much stuff that I need to get rid of because I'm going to be moving soon. I'm going to graduate college and move somewhere. I can't be like having this with me. And I just put it all on Bricklink, and I mean, it's been selling. I haven't made like significant orders compared to some Bricklink sellers that are on TikTok, but you know.
Are you talking about Epic Bricks? I don't feel like it's fair for anybody to compare themselves to Epic Bricks.
Yeah. I once like was on one of his lives and I said to him, I'm like, you're like a Lego treasure hunter. Because he sits on like Mercari, these like resale apps, and just refreshes.
Yeah.
Second he sees something, he buys it like that second. And I don't have the time for that. Yeah. Because he earns a great amount of money from it and from TikTok as well. But yeah, I'm not comparable at all of that. But it's a fun little side hobby to do, I think.
And that's the point though, isn't it? It's like, what is it to you? Whereas I think with Epic, the impression I get is he's working towards basically giving up his day job and that becoming, and he's very much on the path to doing so, like how it looks. But for the likes of you and for a lot of people probably over the last year, a lot of people have jumped onto Bricklink, certainly here in the UK. And in doing so, it's a great way of, one, it's a content creator. When you're stuck for any videos to make, you can always make a Bricklink video. It's just a great way of getting into the community, but then it's just a nice way of kind of that little side hustle as well. So
you also learn so much about Lego from doing it. Like I've been playing with Lego for 14 years and I couldn't name to you most of these like part names. Like I knew what they looked like and I knew what they did, but I couldn't tell you their names. And now like you show me a part and I can tell you what it is. And I think that's just another really good advantage of it.
All right.
Yeah.
Name that part.
That looks like it's 2 wide, 2 tall. So it's going to be 2 by 2 by 2 cone.
I'll take that as it makes sense to me. Makes sense to me. I don't doubt it at all. So you're finishing graduating college soon. What's the plan after that? Moving to another field?
Back on the England thing, I'm a dual citizen, and I don't know if I want to move inside the US. And I floated the idea with some of my friends to move to London, and might be something I do, might not be something I do. It's going to be very expensive to move my stuff there, but I like have family there, and I think I could get a job.
What are you, if you're okay sharing, but what are you studying? Kind of what are you working towards career-wise? Are the two connected?
Career-wise, I can talk about that. I'm studying political science and history. I have a focus in national security and international affairs. I'm very, very interested in like space policy and how we decide what we do in space and with other countries specifically. I have to be careful what I say on the internet because I've had jobs that require security clearance before.
Okay.
In the US for US government agencies. Find me on LinkedIn. You can find out what those were.
I will.
I don't think I can say them, but
You don't have to.
yeah. But hopefully something similar to that. If I could find that in the UK, that would be awesome, because I kind of want to get out of this country, even though I'm studying political science.
Well, it's like, yeah, so that's the argument, isn't it? Political science, you want to be in a bit of a political hotbed.
Yeah.
And you know what? The UK isn't kind of far behind. Like, but I suppose that I think our attitude's a lot different. Like, we're very much just like, ugh, like we can't be asked. You guys run the country, we're going to the pub. That's almost our mentality. But
Over
yeah,
here, it's a little different. And this comment, actually, I'm not confirming or denying, but I might have worked for that company or
wow.
bureaucracy.
There you go. Actually, this is a good comment, because MI5 regularly recruit. So like, you can actually go on MI5's website and just apply for jobs.
I know, and I've
Oh, what are we finding out here?
It would be a little hard because I'm a UK citizen, but I was raised in the US. I don't
That's
know.
fine. We're all friends.
But I don't know how much they'd want me. I've thought about it. Don't worry.
You can be like a spy or something. I don't know. We'll not go into that deep. Do you know what? I suppose if you've got family here, like, great to explore it. But if you've got family here, you've got family there, you can always go back. You know, I always say it's very rare you regret the things you do. It's more the opportunities that you pass up. And, you know, you don't have to worry about a language barrier. You know, if you want to broaden your horizons, you've then got kind of your hop, skip, and a jump away from Europe. Obviously, Europe is like, the Europe as a whole is probably smaller than like the whole of the US. So it's so easy to get around. But yeah, just like, I just think like, even if you just take a year, like, why not? You know,
I think it's leaning towards that's going to happen. I hope. I'd want one of my friends to come with me, though. I think I would feel a little sad if I moved to a new city in a new country all by myself.
Yeah, I get that. I suppose the issue they're going to have is, it's likely none of them have the dual status that you have.
Yeah, no, that is the problem. One of my best friends is thinking about grad school, so she can get a school visa to go over. Bimbo 007, haha.
Actually, when I was in, I'll say this quietly, just because my wife's downstairs, but not that it's sus at all. But when I was in Ibiza and I was at Ocean Beach, we were talking to a couple of American girls who were studying in Barcelona, and they'd like flown over. And funnily enough, like there was like 15 of us, but like only 2 or 3 of the guys were actually single. So like they were grafting hard to no avail. But like my friend felt he was like losing these girls, and they'd said something about, I've just posted like my first TikTok or something, and he was like, and then he just pointed at me and he's like, he's got like 1 million likes on TikTok. And I'm like, well, what do you do? Like, I was like, I can't really be sat in the middle of Ocean Beach, like sat drinking Heineken, like people like half naked everywhere, and be like, oh yeah, I do like Lego TikTok. So I was like, well, you'll have to subscribe and watch and find out. And then one of the girls was absolutely convinced I did OnlyFans. So like, I definitely don't do OnlyFans. So, but yeah, I digress. But yeah, so there's quite a big, I don't know what the point of that story was, but yeah, there are American people over here studying, and they and all that. I think that was the point, is they loved it, and they were saying the same as that. They'd love to kind of stick around, and because it's a very different vibe, very different culture. So yeah, definitely.
The amount of gun jokes I would get, that is so true.
I think that's just an internet thing. Like, we don't do that in person. Like,
this is gonna sound silly, and I should like know this, but like, no one in England owns guns, right?
So some people do, but it tends to be shotguns. Like automatic rifles and pistols are illegal.
Okay.
But shotguns, and it's typically farmers and hunters, but you need a license to do it, and the license goes through like full police vetting. You can't just walk into a store and like buy one with like a loaf of bread. Like you have to go through full police vetting, and I think it gets rechecked every couple of years and stuff like that. And like even if you have got one, like if you watch like the British police shows, if they pull someone over, before they even pull them over, like they know that person has a registered firearm and a licensed firearm, and that's the first thing they'll ask them. But yeah, we get, there was actually a shooting earlier this year somewhere, but it's not that often like things happen. We probably get more stabbings. But yeah.
One of my best friends loves to listen to British rap. Don't ask me questions about that because I couldn't elaborate on what he listens to. But he always makes jokes that they don't mention guns, they mention knives and stabbing, and I think that is so funny.
It's weird, yeah. And do you know when you look at like the comment section where like Brits and Americans are going at it, they're always like that. That's the first thing the Americans quite often chuck back. But like, yeah, it's a shit situation. I suppose people will always find it, like for a long time, for a good few years, it was acid attacks. People would like literally ride around on mopeds throwing acid at people. Then they really locked the legislation down on acid so that you couldn't just like go into like B&Q, like a hardware store, and buy it. You had to like you had to show ID, and it all had to be registered. I think you had to be like a registered company and all sorts. But the problem is they do that with knives, but everybody has knives in their home to make food, even Rollo, and that's why I got banned. So, but yeah, it's a shit situation. But I do think as well, like I say this candidly, but I feel like a lot of that is, whilst it happens and it's awful, but I feel like it's more within certain communities. It's like, it's very unlikely that you're going to walk down the street and get stabbed. Like it's highly unlikely. It tends to be linked to like gang crime, and London obviously has quite a bit of that, but it's in certain areas and all that. But yeah,
it's not comparable to the US.
You're right, Mike. I don't know how we got onto this. We've talked about Lego for this much and talked about knives and guns for this much. But yeah, I just think, I think give it a go. Like, because what if you didn't, and then you ended up wherever you ended up and start doing some work, you'd probably be sat there one day, and as much as you might enjoy the job, you'd probably be sat there thinking like, what if I'd done this and done that? But you can always move back home. Like, that's the thing. It's I know it's expensive, but like £300 for a flight, but at the end of the day, it's £300. Like, it's worth rolling the dice on, isn't it? So
yeah,
because I always used to joke with, and I still do, and I kind of hope it happens one day, but with like Matagus and Brick and Mad and see, like, forget the shipping costs, just pay for my flight and I'll fill a suitcase up with magazines and bring it over for you. But like, that's realistically, it's probably a year's worth of shipping. Like,
you're gonna go to Ohio?
Well, I'd go to Jersey.
Yeah, no.
I'd go into New York and like get the train out to Jersey and stuff.
That's fair.
I'd go to Ohio. Like, I feel like, because I've been to America a couple of times and I love America, but I feel like I want to do more of like real America.
Yeah.
Rather than like Times Square and
LA.
LA, San Francisco, which is a fucking scary place, by the way. I don't know if you've been to San Francisco. Like, I felt like I was on the game GTA. Like, I genuinely thought I was in the game GTA. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, I'm 6'2". I'm like big. I've got a beard. It's very rare that I feel intimidated. I felt intimidated. Like, it was awful. And that was on the night, and then through the day, like, crystal meth is a hell of a drug. And like, but like through the day, some guy like just starts screaming, and I thought it was at me, but he was like, "Go home, go back to fucking Europe and everything." And I thought it was to me, so I like turned around and be like, "Who the fuck's this guy?" And he was screaming at a pigeon, having a full-on argument with the pigeon. It's like, wow, the hell am I? But I loved it, but Vegas obviously as well. Absolutely loved Vegas.
My god, of course.
So But yeah, but they've just announced that they're going to so not LA, San Francisco. So LA is brilliant. Absolutely loved LA. But San Francisco, I wouldn't necessarily go back. But yeah, they've just lifted the travel ban for UK citizens who are double jabbed to come to the US. So the reason we went so late to Ibiza was because we were hoping that America were going to open up so we could go back to Vegas. Because my wife's auntie and uncle live in LA, so we would have flown out, seen them, then drove to Vegas. But maybe next year.
Vegas is expensive. That's an expensive trip all around. LA and Vegas.
I'm worth it.
That okay.
I mean, to be fair, we did go for our honeymoon, so that was like that was one thing. But no, I think it's it's probably not as expensive as you'd think. Again, looking at like internal flights, I think we paid because we flew New York to San Fran, and I think we paid more for the New York to San Fran flight than we did from Manchester to New York.
Yeah, you probably did. You probably.
And then like the train system's awful in America as well, so you couldn't get a train anywhere.
Yeah, I mean you could, but it would take like a week, and it would be as much as the plane flight.
Yeah, but never mind. Anyway, like why are we talking about this? So talked about Lego a bit, but was it more Star Wars that pulled you into Lego, or was it more Harry Potter?
I think for my dad, who was the one buying it, it was Harry Potter. But for me and my little brother, it was Star Wars.
Did your dad make you sit and watch while he built it, then you were allowed to play with it?
No, we would like switch off. We would like fully like pull out our phones and time each other for how long each of us is building and then switch off. That's how we did the castle, Hogwarts Castle. We weren't allowed to split that one. Or no, we did split that one, but we were very strict about it. Yeah, me and my brother were probably way more into Star Wars, but also we were young. So my dad wasn't spending like more than $150 on sets for us because we were kids and we were just going to mess with them. So there
How many years ago was this though?
This was like when we first got into it. So I was about 10 and my brother was about like 6.
So we're talking what, like 10 to 13 years ago? I don't know how old
2010. I'm 21. Okay. So it's around 2010. Yeah.
So in that case though, $150 on a Lego set back then was probably a decent Lego set. Think like Jabba's Palace was probably about $100 and stuff. Whereas if it was released now, it'd be closer to 200.
Yeah.
So like you're doing well on it, but
well, the only other thing there is like me and my brother were very, very into Clone Wars and prequel sets, and we couldn't have cared about original trilogy sets at that point.
Yeah.
And looking back on that, every single time you post Jabba's Palace and your little Rancor, I'm so jealous. I'm like, I want that set so bad, but it's so much money secondhand. But for that reason, a lot of the sets we have were like battle packs or like smaller ships. Or like a lot of the Clone Wars sets, I mean, you'll know, where like you get Anakin's 250-piece starfighter and then a vulture droid, and it was like $50.
Yeah.
So a lot of the sets we did have were small. It wasn't until we got older that we started getting the big ones. My brother has the A-Wing, which you just bought. Oh my God, Ewok Village. We talk about that all the time, how we didn't want that for some reason. And my dad was fully willing to buy it for us. And we just were like,
really?
Yeah.
Do you know, as much as, and you know this as much as anyone, like my disdain for Ewoks, but my appreciation for that set is right up there. Like, it's such a good set, like how they built the trees and then like the bridges in between, like the layer in it with like the long straight hair.
Oh my God, yeah.
I would actually get that set if I found it. Like, I wouldn't seek it out, but if I found it at the right price, I would snap it right up.
My Bricklink, I have a wanted list notification for that Leia because that's such a good minifigure.
How much does it go for?
It's like around $50.
Oh,
average is around 60, but people are putting it up in kind of like okay condition for around 50 in the US. I don't buy like from international sellers.
Yeah.
I usually buy from domestic sellers. But.
Yeah. Oh well. Does your love of Star Wars maintain to this day? Because I feel like you're a big Rebels fan, like through watching your content. I feel like you're like Rebels is the one that when you talk about Star Wars media, Rebels is the one that you tend to talk about the most.
That's interesting because I love Star Wars. I always have, but I didn't watch Rebels until this year because I was like, oh, it's some stupid animation.
Yeah.
Like they can't beat Clone Wars. And so I watched Rebels this year during like lockdown and I loved it. So that kind of reinvigorated my love for Star Wars. But no, in high school, I read before Disney bought Star Wars and you had like the expanded universe. So before there was kind of like definite canon and legends, I was all over Star Wars books in high school. Now that like they've defined canon and legends, I've started to go through most of the canon books. I'm probably at like 55% through those. But some of them I just really don't care about.
Are you doing books or comic books too? Are you counting comic books in there as well?
I'm not counting comic books. I'm just counting actual books. Yeah.
So you read Dark Disciple?
I have. That was one of the first. When did it come out? I read it like around the time when it came out. It had to be at least over 2 years ago.
Oh, it must have been.
Because
I feel like it's like this is a second print of it as well. Everyone just sit quietly while I find this out.
I think I read it when I was in my last year of high school, maybe.
There's a lot of 2015 printed in here, so I wonder if it was.
Oh, maybe I was like midway through. Oh yeah, it came out in 2016.
So this has reference to The Last Jedi in there. When was The Last Jedi? 2016. So maybe around
2017.
But it does say it's the second print because it has the New York bestseller on it.
Okay.
So there probably was an original print of this as well. So it could well have been 2015.
My copy doesn't have that on it. That's a different.
So this is the new. So this is the newer one, because it has New York best.
Oh, maybe I do have that one. I feel like mine looks a little different. I don't know. It doesn't matter. I read that when I was in high school, so it's been a while since I read that. But
great book though.
It was a great book, and I think that's one of the reasons I got really into canon books. But yes, my love for Star Wars goes way past Lego, and I've been trying to rewatch the movies recently. I just rewatched the sequels. And I won't lie, when I rewatched them, I actually appreciated them more. I think because I got some time. I also didn't have my brother in my ear being like, they're horrible movies. I appreciated those more. And I haven't rewatched the prequels yet. Mainly because I just don't like, I highly doubt there's any like Star Wars girls on here in the chat, but I really cannot stand Hayden Christensen. I don't like him as an actor. I think he's annoying, and that makes the prequels really hard to watch for me.
Yeah, I suppose the problem with Hayden is his performances, and there's the whole argument of whether it's him or the writing, and it's probably somewhere in the middle, because the writing, like for me, I don't know yet, because I haven't got 20 years of hindsight, and I haven't watched the sequels as much as I've watched the prequels. But I feel like in 10 years' time, or even 5 years' time, I will put the sequels well above the prequels. I'll always be an original trilogy fan at the top, without a doubt. But I do think that they'll go in there. But it's that thing where the writing is so like wooden.
I think it's probably the writing, because I've seen other movies with Hayden Christensen in, and I don't hate him as much.
But the problem is he didn't do a lot. He did Jumper like after Star Wars.
There was this one about like he's like a journalist.
I thought he like bought a farm. I thought he went full like Brock Lesnar and just like bought a farm and disappeared. He went like, is he Canadian? He's Canadian, isn't he?
I'm not sure. Kind of looks it.
I feel like you kind of looks it. It's like full South Park mentality there, like beady eyes and flapping heads.
Yeah.
I think what's painful though with him is when you watch the behind the scenes stuff and like the like not the deleted scenes, but like him and Ewan McGregor kind of messing around backstage. He really comes to life more, and then he becomes this like really wooden character, and it's like I've always kind of struggled with that.
And then someone said in the chat, they said you've got to rate him coming back to Star Wars, and I'm actually so excited to see him in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, because like the videos I've seen of him, like the social media stuff he does and like promos, and he just seems like a different person.
He does.
So I'm really hopeful that when he does return in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, it's going to be a vastly different performance, and I'm actually really excited for that.
I mean, as I say, he's got 20 years of like maturity, and I think the writing, without a doubt, will be infinitely better. Like the writing now is so much better. Let's not go into like the writing of the sequels, because everybody knows the issues with that. But I think if you look at each film, and I think this is a conversation I had with Rolo, but if you look at each film in isolation, they're not particularly bad films, but it's how they connect. That's the issue. And as we knew, as has probably been the case, was originally the case with the original trilogy, not so much with the prequels because they were predefined, but with the sequels, they kept like they just didn't know where they were going. Like they would make that decision as they were scripting each film.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they've really, and this is the positive thing. Absolutely. I mean, I don't really see any negatives of Disney. Like I grew up in an era when, you know, I was born and Star Wars was done. Like at that point, Star Wars was done. We had 3 films.
When were you born? Can I guess?
You can have one guess.
Star Wars came out like early 70s, right? Or was it late 70s, early 80s?
You're talking 70s here. Are you actually...
No, I'm saying that. I was going to say, were you born around... I don't want to say it because I don't know how
old it. It is out there. It's not publicized, but it is out there. So
okay, 88.
I'll take that. 85.
I was thinking that 88. I was going way too too far back.
So when I was born, I think Return of the Jedi was 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Then I went up until the age of 14 without any new Star Wars content. Like I can't remember when you talking about like conscious thought and that first conscious thought. I can't remember not having seen Star Wars in the original trilogy, and I think that's why it's so ingrained in me. Like that, it is the benchmark.
Whereas I'm the opposite. Like when I first like started really like having the autonomy to go upstairs and watch TV by myself, Clone Wars was coming out, so I could go and watch Clone Wars as like my free time hobby. Whereas like I think that was very formational. And on that note, Darth Walker said in the chat, George told him to be wooden to match Vader. I feel like in the Clone Wars he's not. Like in the Clone Wars, it's such an Anakin, and that's probably why I also don't like Christensen.
I agree with that, but it is that thing where I do think the Clone Wars series saved the prequels, and a lot of people love the prequels, but what they don't realize is they actually love it because of the Clone Wars.
Oh, 100%.
And when they see Hayden as Anakin, they're actually seeing the Anakin from the Clone Wars. Mm-hmm. And do you know, I don't get hate for this, but people kind of roll their eyes at me a little bit. But I'd say the same for Kenobi. I don't think, probably more so in Revenge of the Sith, Ewan was decent as Kenobi. But I think in Attack of the Clones, he wasn't ready to be the leading main actor. When you think like we had Liam Neeson in The Phantom Menace, Liam Neeson is sublime.
Insane. Yeah.
Like he is just, he's like a star. And I don't think there was nobody who stood out. Like Samuel L. Jackson could have been that person as Mace Windu, but they didn't write him to be that guy. They were hoping Ewan McGregor was going to be there, but I don't think he was there. But then when you think about Kenobi from the Clone Wars series, perfect in that relationship with him and Anakin.
Well, you are like, you hit it like right on the head. I cannot say that any of the prequels movies are my favorite movies, but the Clone Wars is probably my favorite thing about Star Wars. I would never, like, the reason I haven't rewatched the prequel movies is because I would have to like pop an Adderall, pop 2 Adderalls, sit on my bed
Don't do drugs, kids.
with one of these. It's prescription with a gin and tonic.
Coming from someone with from a country with like a serious opioid problem, but yeah, crack on.
What can I say? I'm American. I would have to like force myself to watch the prequels, whereas I put the Clone Wars on in the background all the time. And I think that the reason everyone says the prequels are so good is because of the Clone Wars.
No, I agree.
Insane.
I agree. But again, I think with my generation, we don't have that same opinion because the Clone Wars didn't release until after. I don't think the Clone Wars came out until after Revenge of the Sith. And by that point, everybody was so pissed off with them. And certainly in the UK, they were only released on Sky, which was like, Sky is like paid for TV, which like not everybody has. Probably a lot more people have it now, especially with like streaming capability. But back then it was on like Sky Movies, which was like £20 a month on its own. I'm not paying that. Like, so not a lot of people saw it, so their whole opinion was based solely on the trilogy. But yeah, I think a lot of people now, certainly kids growing up now, have had the ability to almost forge that opinion on the Clone Wars. But that's not a bad thing. It's just, I think it's people they're not at that point where they have that conscious thought to think, actually what I do like is this, and that's kind of manipulates my opinion on this. But if I separate the two, like there's that, but it's fine.
Yeah. I think I don't. The prequels are great movies, and I think the world they set up is awesome, but not my cup of tea. That's funny.
But I do think Rebels, I place Rebels above Clone Wars.
Going back to what you were just talking about, like the way it's placed kind of in people's psyche, I think because I grew up watching Clone Wars, I don't think I could ever compare Rebels to it, because like Clone Wars is like my childhood, you know? Whereas Rebels is fantastic and I loved it. But there's just something about Clone Wars, man. And like, yeah.
Do you know though, I was the same. I have watched Clone Wars on and off for the last like 15 years. Like I've watched them in bits and then gone back and watched them again and this and that. But I would, if you were to say it to me now, like go and rewatch Clone Wars, I'd be like, because it feels like such a slog because there's so many troughs against those peaks, whereas Rebels is just so solidly consistent and builds characters so well. But then when you think about the Bad Batch, like that's where I think the Bad Batch flopped in its potential, because you think of like you've basically got the ship of like almost like a family of brothers and how they interact with each other. That's Rebels. Like the formula was there through Rebels of like breaking them off, giving like Echo and Tech a bit more time off on their own and like develop their own characters. But they just focused on like this kind of like point at the front with Hunter and Omega, and then like Wrecker in behind, and then Crosshair over here, and they just kept like hammering that one home. Like,
yeah, Filoni did kind of mess up with Bad Batch. I saw Darth Chaco, our man. Does he still follow you?
Hell yeah, he does. Are you better?
So jealous. He like made a point one time where he was like, everyone agrees that season 1 of Rebels wasn't very good, so like let's give Bad Batch a chance in the future. So I think Bad Batch will get better. I mean, hoping it gets confirmed for a few more seasons, more than just one more season. I think it will do. I think it will, hopefully will.
I just hope they don't drag it out for the sake of it.
That's a great point.
And I think, what was it, like 16 episodes? Could have been 12. I think they're just, it's exactly what you said. And lessons learned. What did we learn about that? shorten the series a little bit or make it a little bit more punchy. Let's get on it. Like, absolutely.
This is
I feel like we should have had a death though at the like a significant death.
I agree.
But yeah, I'm like I'll watch it regardless. But yeah.
On the note of Bad Batch, this is kind of deviating from Star Wars and Disney, but like I am so surprised we haven't got any more leaks of a Bad Batch Lego set.
No, I agree.
I was expecting the Winter Wave to have at least. I mean, obviously we don't know what's going to be in the Winter Wave, but I feel like by now we should know we should have known what was going to come out, and we haven't heard anything about a Bad Batch set.
No, you're right. And do you know, I hadn't thought about that, but now you say it, I'm absolutely sitting there thinking, because I've been saying, like, are we going to get any surprises next year? We've never seen leaks like this before.
We're gonna get like, I remember, wasn't there a list that came out and it was a whole bunch of set numbers, but they didn't know what the set numbers were going to be?
Yeah.
They have one of those for Star Wars. Maybe some of those are Bad Batch sets. But I just feel like if they don't create any other Bad Batch sets, that's...
What would they create, though? So...
I made a TikTok on this.
Okay, go on.
I was saying that they should make a really tattered Rex's Y-Wing.
Yes.
I doubt they'd do another Rancor set. I think that...
Would a baby Rancor, like a juvenile Rancor, to go next to the big Rancor would be...
Someone made the argument that Moochie might be in Book of Boba Fett.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, could be.
So maybe Moochie is Mephisto. That's what I was going to say.
Right, okay.
I'm kidding. Someone said that they might be in Book of Boba Fett, so maybe we will get a Moochie set from either of those two. I could see a Rex's Y-Wing all tattered and broken down. I could see them making like a Sid's bar set. Kind of like...
People care about Sid, though.
Well, but I think that would be a good way they could incorporate Omega into a set.
Maybe.
Only reason I think that is because Lego really is tending more towards these like set, like they have like Friends and they have the Seinfeld and Queer. I know those are shows, but they kind of like doing like a little more display piece. So I could see them doing something like that. And then what's it called? Is an ATTP, the big like tank.
ATTE.
Maybe.
The walker. The six-legged walker. Yeah.
I could see them. They had like the kind of I can't remember all the names of these little clones, but like they were still clones, but they were Imperial, and they had an ATTE. I could see them doing something with that and including Echo and some of the... Oh, what was Echo's group called? Do you remember?
What do you mean in the Clone Wars?
Not Echo, sorry. Crosshair. What was Crosshair's?
Oh, so like the elite squadron.
Yeah. I could see them including some of the elite squadron minifigures in there as well.
So I think if they did the Imperial Elite Squadron, they'd probably do the shuttle that comes with it.
Oh,
That's how I would do it. It is a great sneaky way, because I think we've only ever had one ATTE. People are desperate for it.
Oh, yeah.
So it's a great way for them to bring that back without like doing it, like without having to just release it in as a Clone Wars set. There's the Imperial V-Wing, which we've already had, but you could release that. We're not going to get a gunship, but the gunship was in there.
Unpopular opinion, I don't like gunships.
I agree.
Okay, good. Everyone was like, UCS gunship. I'm like, I couldn't give less of a fuck, literally.
Give me a Venator over a gunship any day.
Yeah, I agree. It's whatever. It seems like cartoony and something that like George Lucas was just like, how can we add color to Star Wars ships and make it seem like the Jedi had more control and everything was so light and pretty? Like, I just think in general, I don't like gunships.
It's the physics of it for me. They drop out of like the Venators in space, but they've got holes in them. But then
it doesn't make sense. Like physically, Exactly. Like, I mean, I'm using the laws of like Earth physics. I didn't mention this
Which is
earlier.
why it's science fantasy, not science fiction. That's
I'm an
all. That's
astrophysics
the
minor.
standard response.
I'm an astrophysics minor, and because I'm into space, and I also like need to keep myself busy with science. Physically, it doesn't make sense at all. How you're just gonna have a kind of there's whatever. I don't
This
like
is
them.
a good one though. Hauser, like we need a Hauser clone, but this is the thing about the kind of like the what we want and what we get, especially when it comes to clones. Like we want Jesse.
Do you remember when it was like a few years ago? Was it the Vader minifigure that they just dropped into random sets on May the 4th? The shiny Vader polybag.
Oh, like was that the 20-year anniversary one or something? No, the 10-year anniversary of Lego Star Wars, wasn't it? It's worth a fortune now. That
maybe it's worth well over 100. But they put it into random sets, like sealed sets. You would open it and find a polybag. I remember hearing about this a few years ago.
No way.
When it happened. And so that's how you could get your hands on a Vader.
Buying a sealed set now and opening it up, and it has one of those in.
I think so.
I mean, that must happen.
I think that's how they distributed. I might be completely wrong, but I think that's how they distributed the Chrome Vader. I had like a suspicion that I thought was like 100% correct, that when the Bad Batch shuttle dropped, they were going to have Hauser polybags in it, because everyone was like, Hauser, Hauser, Hauser. All of these Clone Army customs were like posting about Hauser, and I was like, they must be tipped off by Lego. Like, this is just like, everyone's too obsessed with this man. It didn't happen, obviously, but I thought I was real good on that.
Yeah, but like you look at the controversy of the UCS gunship and the clone. Like you know, I'm not a gunship fan. I'm not a clone fan.
It's going for a lot.
Like, yeah, but people like that market will just drop now because everybody who just wants the fake, but doesn't want the build, like they'll pretty much have it now.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's like the whole like this will haunt Lego for years. But like, use your imagination. Like that quote around it can be any clone you want, and use your imagination. Like Star Wars fans did not want to hear that. So I do think with the Hauser thing is like, how do they know that that's what people want? Like Rex was different because Rex was such an look at Phase 2 Cody. Phase 2 Cody is the one that everybody wants. But we haven't got that. Like,
that's
Phase
who
2 Cody is the front of the queue.
They thought that was going to be in the gunship, right?
Yeah, but it made sense that it wasn't, because they said they were basing it off Attack of the Clones. So that would have been Phase 1.
Phase 1,
but, yeah.
Phase 2 Cody, I think we're going to get eventually. They're going to like release like an anniversary or like a commemorative thing that's going to have a lot of iconic minifigures in it.
Well, there's talk about this like clone trooper accessory pack, isn't there?
Blister
and
pack.
Like, yeah, and it like, are we going to like almost get the helmet and stuff in that? And like people are saying, oh, we are, won't we? Like, we don't know enough about it, but I suppose we'll see. We'll see. I've just remembered, and thank you to Zian of Block Studios, but I've just remembered.
Yes, salt and vinegar crisps do belong in sandwiches.
He's saying chip, but obviously he is full-blown American, so that's fine.
It's a
obviously
crisp.
We'll call it crisps. But like, what is your like crisp sandwich? But would salt and vinegar be your go-to?
Yeah, you can put a salt and vinegar crisp into nearly anything, like a sandwich, any kind of sandwich, and I will be like, yeah, that's awesome.
Would you add it to a sandwich, or are we talking about solely crisp? Like that's all you're having in there?
Oh, no. It would be with other ingredients.
Well, that's not a crisp sandwich. That's a ham sandwich with crisps in it.
Are you trying to tell me that people eat a sandwich, like a 2 pieces of bread, and you eat 2 pieces of bread with crisps in it?
I did a TikTok on this, yes. So butter, like you have to have butter in, like 100% have to have butter in. But yeah, like so And it has to be a specific type of bread, and the Brits know.
My grandpa, or I call him my granddad, he is so particular about his bread. It is like he is. I wouldn't say he's a picky man, but when it comes to his bread, he is.
Well, he's an older, isn't he?
Oh,
is he
yeah. He's in his 70s. He used to own a butcher shop in Harrogate.
What a guy!
Yeah, he's a cool
man.
Is
he available to come on the Opie-verse?
I don't. He took me to see. My dad was like really busy with work when Harry Potter Deathly Hallows came out, and my little innocent grandpa was like, "Oh, a Harry Potter movie, like a magical movie. I'll go take my granddaughter to see it." And we left the movie theater, and he was like, "What did we just watch?"
Have you not seen anything before that?
No, that's what I mean. If he came on this, he'd be like, "What are we talking about?"
Well, you're never too old to learn, so
imagine you grab the oldest man you possibly could, like, think of. Not the oldest man, but like the most like traditionally older, hasn't really become acquainted. This man still has a flip phone, doesn't have an iPad or a tablet or anything. He now lives in Bakewell, but he lived in Harrogate. He moved out of Harrogate because he thought it was getting too modern and too.
I mean, it is quite. It is quite. It's quite Tory, is probably the way to put it. It's like Harrogate is it is a bit posh. I'm just having a look where Bakewell is. Oh no, Bakewell's of course, Bakewell's in Derbyshire.
It's tiny. Like, it's like one road. There's only one. There's like two pubs in it, but one of the pubs is kind of like barely a pub. It's just kind of like someone's house that everyone goes to drink in. It is tiny.
That's what we do. We do. It's the way to live. See, Zane, you just don't. So chip, look, you're on a British stream now. Chips are chips. Chips are not crisps. Crisps are crisps.
I can't really get behind that though. Like, when you call a straight up fry, like a piece of potato, when you call that a chip.
Well, there's a difference between fries and chips.
What would you say the difference is? It's like, is a McDonald's fry? Is that a fry?
That's a fry. So like the skinny French fries are fries.
Okay, but then if you get like a little wedge.
Yeah, no, a wedge is something else. So a wedge is like, we're talking stages here. A chip is like, think about fish and chips.
So like just a thick fry.
Yes.
Okay.
Have you done British fish and chips?
Oh my God, yeah. My mom does that. Like,
so that is the quintessential chip. That is your starting point. After that, you think, then you've got like steak and chips. Like that is, you wouldn't have fries with a steak. You would have chips. It's different. Different.
I know it's different.
There's a periodic table of what potatoes are.
Yeah, that's actually so true, because here it's just like you have one or the other. You have a fry or a whole potato. That's it.
Exactly. But yeah,
I respect it.
So when you come to the UK, is there anything particular food wise that you think like, I'm after that, that's what I'm going for?
Yes, actually 100%. There's a few things. One, mint sauce. And I know that's kind of normal. And
I'm not a big, I don't hate it, but I'm not. Well, I'm not. My wife though will put it on
I put it on everything. But the only place you can get it here is from an Indian grocer, and there isn't like in my Indian grocer. It's kind of like hard to get to. It's like I have to it's a trip to the Indian grocer. Whereas in England, you can be in any pub and you can be like, you can order anything.
Yeah, love. Mint sauce. Yeah, love.
They'll have mint sauce. Whereas even here,
ask for the sachets and just take a load of the sachets home.
That's so true.
Just go to a Wetherspoons.
You gave
find
me a great
the
idea.
little thing and just there you go.
Well, I mean, here, like we obviously have like British restaurants that are kind of gimmicky and kind of like they have like
Even the Gordon Ramsay fish and chip shop in Vegas is gimmicky, and he's fucking British.
Yeah, but the British shops you have here, if you ask for mint sauce, it's like sugary. It's like a jam. And I don't want that kind of mint sauce. I want like straight vinegar and mint, you know? So I'm excited for that.
I'm excited for you. Okay.
I'm very much looking forward to that. Also here you can buy like mushy peas, like in a can, but there's nothing like mushy peas you get from a pub with like some vinegar.
Yeah, that's even true here. Like, you can't buy mushy peas other than what you buy from a pub or a fish and chip shop.
Yeah, and so I'm looking forward to just like a fresh thing of mushy peas. Zane just said in the chat, he said ranch is best. My grandpa, every single time we go to England, makes us bring a bottle of Hidden Valley Ranch because he can't like the ones they have in England are different. And he loves Hidden Valley Ranch so much.
So Zane and I have had this exact conversation. And I bought some ranch, and it was like the British one or like the European one. And it was all right. Like, I enjoyed it, but like I wouldn't rush out to get it. And he was like, no, you have to get it. And there was the Hidden Valley one.
Mm-hmm.
So I looked it up on Amazon, on the Amazon pantry, and I think it was like £30 plus like £20 shipping. Oh, I'm not fucking paying that. So I didn't bother with that. But
me and my grandparents do a trade. We bring them Hidden Valley Ranch, and they give us authentic like Bisto gravy. The Bisto they sell in the US is very different than the Bisto you get there.
I feel like your TikTok is all wrong. You should be one of these like Americans eating English food.
I probably would, because my mom went to like this weird like art school type thing in Sheffield, but she like did half art school, half culinary school. So she's like obsessed with making food, and it's always British food or like Indian food. So I'm very well versed in British food.
Anything else? So, because you're talking condiments here. So you've talked what, mint sauce and
mushy peas and
mushy peas. Like, mushy peas are a side. Granted, totally feel you, but like,
last time I went to England, I was vegetarian, and so I couldn't have a steak and liver pie. Is that what you call them?
Steak and kidney pie.
Steak and kidney, yeah. And I remember when I was a kid, those were so good. So I'm looking forward to having one of those.
What steak pie? Yeah, steak and kidney, not for me.
Well, you have to remember, my granddad was a butcher, so it's like it's in my blood. I have to eat gross meat stuff. Yeah.
Have you tried black pudding then?
Yes.
Fucking yes.
I don't know if I like it though. I'm not a sweets person.
Sweet? It's blood?
I think it's black pudding.
Yeah, black pudding. It's it's dried blood.
I'm not thinking of the same thing you're thinking of then.
Definitely not. Definitely not.
My Americanness is showing. Sorry. I don't know.
You just try it. You have it as part of a breakfast.
Black pudding? All right, when I'm there,
Don't Google it. It doesn't look good.
Oh, I think I know what this is. Yeah, no, that probably is really yummy.
It is. It absolutely is. Just get yourself out for a full English. Like, your granddad will no doubt be a massive fan. He'll probably have cases of it.
He eats gross things. Like gross parts of an animal you'd never think you'd eat. Like, instead of butter, will take like pork fat and spread that on his bread instead.
Nice. I mean, like a bit of lard, yeah. I mean, they've chucked out a new roast potatoes, all good.
Yeah.
Look.
Kind of deviated from.
He's in his 70s. He's doing well. He's definitely doing something right.
Yeah, no, literally.
It's a good shout. I don't know if he's tried it, but done haggis.
That sounds familiar. What is it?
So haggis is exclusively Scottish, and obviously Stevie is Scottish. Hence why he's doing that. But yeah, it's Stevie might explain better because I just
Googled it.
Like, yeah.
I've
I
heard of
don't feel like you can get traditional haggis, certainly outside of Scotland, because the traditional haggis was inside a sheep's stomach lining.
a few
Beautiful.
years ago. A few years ago, we did our like England or UK vacation exclusively in Scotland, and I wouldn't be surprised if that's something that my grandpa ordered while we were there because that name sounded familiar.
I mean, it's quite well known because it's a big thing, but yeah,
Yeah.
it's not bad. It's not bad. Do you? So, if you're more of a savory than a sweet, but do you have a particular chocolate bar? Because I think, like, and I think TikTok has absolutely confirmed this, that British chocolate, like
So much better.
sweets,
Yeah.
Cadbury over Hershey's. Like
My
100%.
dad imports, he spends a lot of money back onto the magazine thing, kind of. He spends a lot of money on these little packages around the holiday times of British chocolate. And like you can get stuff here, but it's just not the same. Like you can get a Bounty bar in the United States that it's like from England, but it's not the same.
Who the fuck's ordering a Bounty from the UK to like?
Mom.
Okay.
My mom. A flake. Oh my god.
But a ripple is better than a flake.
Is that no, they stick
So,
the flakes in ice cream, right?
yes, yeah.
Okay.
But a ripple is Galaxy. So a flake is Cadbury, a ripple is Galaxy, but
okay.
essentially it's the same thing. But what they do with a Galaxy is they like double, so they make the flake and then like dip
And
it
they dip
again.
it in chocolate. Yeah. Yeah, I've had those too. Yeah.
But,
There's something about those flakes or ripples.
I mean, they're all good.
They don't sell that in the United States. Like that like texture of chocolate. Oh my God. Yeah. Or like an arrow. You don't get those in the US.
Mint arrow all day. And we get the mint arrow
I disagree with that.
McFlurries. So I feel like our McFlurry, like America does like fast food and McDonald's far greater than we ever could because of like regulations and all that. But like we don't even get supersized here anymore. But yeah, I think our McFlurries would be better for that reason because of what they mix in them. Do you even get McFlurries? You surely do.
No, we get McFlurries. My like go-to McFlurry is just a good Oreo, no, M&M McFlurry. What's the other thing my dad eats? It's like a gummy. They come in a tube. No, they come in a tube. They kind of have sugar on the outside. They're like a gum, like a hard, like a wine gum.
Fruit pastels.
Yes. Oh my God. My dad orders those all the time.
Will's on it. Will knew straight away.
He knew. He said, okay, I agree. He said a flake is better than a ripple, but then he said an orange arrow, and I disagree with both of you. The orange arrow or the mint arrow? No.
Are you not a
normal
flavor with chocolate?
Just a normal arrow, like a plain milk chocolate arrow is just the best one. Maybe that's because I like don't have them as often, and so I just want like the simple one, you know, but I just think the normal one is the best.
I feel like we should like hook up a connection where I basically supply you with magazines and your dad with chocolate. I'll just like every month or so I'll just grab a load of magazines and a load of chocolate and shove them in a box and save your dad a load of money. And then for you, what you can see is like, look, Dad, I've sorted the connection. You're going to pay the shipping. And there's going to be a couple of magazines in there. I need you to forward them on to me. And then you're getting a couple of magazines for the cost of the magazines, and your dad pays all the shipping. But while still probably saving money of what he's probably paying now if he's doing it for a professional company. Yeah,
I don't know what he's paying to get these little boxes. He might just be. No, I was going to say maybe my family's sending them to him, but I don't think so. I think this is like an actual thing. Yes, we do. We also have like rip-offs because I think people like have realized how good a chocolate orange is. And so you'll get like like American companies making a chocolate orange, but it's nothing like the original
The
ones.
problem is it's the chocolate though. It's not about
Yeah.
the flavor. It's the chocolate is just very different.
It's
You
so
know,
yeah.
my favorite like go-to beer, like lager, is Heineken. Like just have around, so easy to drink,
It's a
just
good.
goes
Yeah.
down like water. It's just so easy to drink. Went to America
Is it
and
different?
it's totally different. So in the bottles, it's fine because I think in the bottles they buy it from the US and from the EU and they ship it over. But the draft stuff is brewed in the US, so it's more probably brewed to a US palate, and it's almost got like an IPA, like flowery taste to it. What the fuck have you done to my Heineken? So I was having to like spend a fortune on Heineken by the bottle. But what's really weird is like Bud Light, which is obviously everywhere in the US. It's like doesn't taste anything like it, but never mind.
Oh,
But
wait, is Budweiser's not? Oh, you're saying it tastes different in the UK.
no, I would say it tastes all right. I would say it tastes the same in both. But if you drink more like there's because obviously there's a lot of stuff that we don't even get in the UK. But like you drink it around in the US, that traditional US beer taste is a little bit more floral, certainly on draft.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
But yeah, it's like they made the Heineken like that. Maybe it's a draft thing, but never mind.
It's
But
probably an American thing.
what even is the stream? We're just like we're just totally just Legos gone out the window, and we're just like yeah. I mean, I'm rolling with it, but yeah.
Another thing my dad orders is like we call it a keg. There's a name for it. A big barrel of Theakston Old Peculiar.
Wow.
My dad ordered. I don't even want to know how much my dad spends on that. It's a North Yorkshire thing, and he orders the full barrels of it to his house because he said you can buy it here in like cans, but he's like it's not the same.
Not the same. No, no. I mean Theakston's tells us everything we need to know. Just fair play to the lad, but I bet he can't wait to get over and have a proper British pint.
Yeah, that's probably the most biggest thing he's looking forward to, in all honesty.
Yeah, I get that. I get that. But yeah, this is like I absolutely love this, Ellie. It's been nice to just kind of actually just have a very different conversation because I didn't want this to just be a whole thing where we just talk about Lego and Star Wars every week. But like we haven't done that. It's been so fun to have you on. But like as I said to you,
about what we talked about for the last.
Nah, it doesn't matter. Like talking shit's the best way to go. So like, but now that's been epic. I'm just going to put a last kind of final call out to people if anyone really wants to ask any questions. Drop them in the chat. We'll do a quick Q&A with Ellie if anybody has any questions. But whilst we do that and whilst we wait for them to come in, what does the kind of immediate future hold for you, Ellie? Where can people find you? What should they expect if they? I mean, how do you even describe what to expect from Ellie on a TikTok page and all that? But
that is so true. I have thought about that in the past. I don't have like a genre. I mean, obviously my genre of TikToks is Legos, but like I think there's Lego TikTokers that are like content creators. Wait, what did I say?
What did you say?
I was going to say that I don't have like a certain type of TikTok that I make. Like I just kind of make what I want. And whereas everyone.
What did you say your genre is?
Lego? Did I say Legos?
I think you said Legos. Carry on.
I don't think.
It wasn't just me. It wasn't just me. Carry on.
I'm on Lego TikTok, but I feel like the TikToks that I make now, I'm terrified to use like plural terms. The TikToks I make aren't like super consistent, and I don't follow like a certain theme kind of with my TikToks. Oh no, I'm losing followers. How sad. But I just make what I want. Like that one, the video you duetted to promote me being on this.
Yeah.
I don't know why I posted that. I was just like,
good video.
I have a separate TikTok that like a personal TikTok that my friends follow and stuff. And I was like, nah, I'm gonna post this on my Lego TikTok because you know.
See what I love? I love Drunk Ellie, and I love Drunk Bricks and Bimbos to be very specific. But I love that you like drag your friends in, and they're sat, and you're like, "Who's this?" It's like Bo-Katan, and they're like, "Is it Star Wars?" And you're like, "Well, yeah, it's Star Wars." And
They're like, is it Darth
"Is it
Vader?
Darth Vader?" They're like, and I've never seen someone look like they're going to punch someone more in their life. But it's brilliant. I love when you get drunk and make TikToks. It's brilliant.
When I get drunk, I finished the gin and tonic, which this was more than one. I do have a hidden TikTok, and that's your guys' time to go and find it. I finished this and I'm feeling tipsy. So it doesn't take much to get me drunk.
I mean, it was a full glass, Ellie, I will say.
Yeah, I did. But back to your question, where to find me? Find me on TikTok. Find me on my secret hidden TikTok. I have a lot of followers. Like, I've been getting a ton of followers on my personal Instagram.
Because you only have, am I right in thinking you only have one Instagram?
Yeah, I only have, like, my TikTok is the only place where I'm like a Lego lady. Thank you, Jack. It's Bimbo Batman, not Ballerina Batman. And we're a little over time, but spoiler alert, my Halloween costume is Bimbo Batman, and
Can't wait to see it.
I'm so excited. I'm having to like custom do most of this stuff.
Have you gone like all in as well?
Oh, it's like exact replica. All my Halloween costumes are exact replicas of a minifigure. Like,
calm down, boys.
Here is one of like a CMF, and I bought everything specifically for this CMF.
Nice.
It's one of my Halloween costumes.
I feel like that's one thing that like the Brits look on very enviously, especially nerdy Brits. Like the Americans do Halloween, Comic-Con, like the whole dress up thing.
Oh my god.
Full and embrace it, where it's still like a bit, probably not so much for like younger Brits, but my generation are a bit like, oh, I'm not getting dressed up. Yeah. And I'm like, come on, let's get dressed up. So
yeah, the cosplay scene over here is insane. And it's like, it's not just like there's cosplayers. Like, you'll have people who aren't on social media, don't do all this like fancy, like aren't famous for their cosplays, but own like a full-on Mandalorian cosplay for some reason.
Yeah. Just and like sat watching like Family Fortunes or Family Feud in your world and just be like,
in the Mando costume.
Why not? Why not?
Exactly. All right, you me off?
On that basis, I was just going to say so I've linked to your beacons in the description below, so you can all find Ellie's various links in that. Do you actually have your TikTok in your beacons?
I should. I think one of my videos is linked in my beacons.
Okay, I saw your wish list and I saw your Venmo. Like,
not enough people are buying off my wish list.
Do you know, like, I've never had anything. Like, I don't want anything, but like the whole like you American Lego TikTokers are all like, oh my god, someone's bought me something off my wish list, and I'm like, for fuck's sake, what the hell's going? Like, who the hell is this random buyer?
Well, like, there's all these Lego TikTokers that are, I'm not gonna lie, they're dudes, bro, and they're getting stuff sent to them, and I'm not getting stuff sent to me. I'm like, what else do I have to do to get free stuff sent to me?
It's not worth pimping yourself out, Ellie, for a Lego. Like,
all I want is like a dual. I want 2 lightsabers. I think that would elevate my TikTok game 1,000,000%, but I'm not paying for them, so.
You're paying for them. So yeah, but yeah, you're nonetheless, if you want to buy Ellie something off her wish list, be my guest. But her Ellie's beacons is linked below, along with all my stuff, but you all know where all that is. And then all the usual stuff. So been epic, Ellie. I'm so like, in a way, it's probably worked out well that we've it's took us this long to get you on. I feel like the suspense, even just between me and you, the suspense is built well to kind of, we finally made it, that last minute blip 5 minutes before we went on at work.
Oh my god,
It's so great to have you on. Definitely have you back on. So what I'm planning on, for the next couple of weeks, I've got people coming on their own. But then once we've kind of gone through like the bulk, certainly because Lego TikTok is definitely dominating the stream, but having very non-Lego TikTok conversations. But then what I want to do is start bringing people in there and have a broader conversation. So like I'll have you back on. I know you're desperate to get on with Rolo. I feel like I'll just go. Like I'll just let you two go and I'll just walk off for an hour and a half.
There's like 3 people. There's Rolo. There's Mac Bricks. His accent.
So of course Mac is Sasha. I don't know if he's still here, but that's Sasha in the chat.
Where?
I'll see if I can find.
That was him?
Yeah. That's Mac.
That.
So he's 17, and I'm really being strict on the rule about bringing 18-year-olds on because obviously for the drinking thing.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's 18 in March, so we've actually got him penciled in for his first Sunday.
Well, in March, I'm gonna be on with him because I think that would be fun. And then cool guy Dom.
Of course, do you know, I made this assumption that you would talk to Dom, and I know you talk to Dom in like chat and stuff.
He does like daily lives, and I go on them and I just make fun of him the whole time.
You don't go live, so obviously you wouldn't get the opportunity. But well, Dom is definitely high on my list. The problem with Dom is, from my perspective, is he's like, yeah, I'll come on, but then he's not like, so I forget about him. But then if I know if I go on, I love Dom, and Dom was one of the very first Lego TikTokers I followed. So definitely want to get him on. I just need to pull my finger out and get him on. But yeah, that's the plan, is like to start once we've got around everyone, and almost, especially for you American guys, a lot of my followers might particularly not know you, so it gives them an opportunity. It gives you guys an opportunity to shine one-on-one and kind of sell yourself to these people, and then they get to know you, and then they understand you kind of in a more group environment. So that's the plan ultimately, is maybe before Christmas, maybe just after Christmas, we'll then start cracking on and having group conversations.
I'm looking forward to it. This is fun.
Awesome. It'll be awesome. But yeah, next week, for the benefit of those who are here or are watching when this is later, we are going to do the stream on Saturday. Yes, Darth Walker, look, he's teeing me up. So the stream is on Saturday, and the only reason it's on Saturday is because the stag do I was on in Ibiza, the home version of it is next Sunday. So I'm moving it to Saturday. The stream is set up for 8 o'clock. It might move an hour either way, just while to lock it in. But all being well and all going to plan, it will be Mr. Mellish.
Fun. I still haven't gotten the follow back from Mr. Mellish.
No.
I know. So maybe
I'm going to clip this right now, and I'm going to play this to him next week.
I do love his content. You should tell him.
He's just so good at doing like what he does.
Yeah.
And that's, I've been on Studbuds. I've been on his stream when he built the cantina.
Mm-hmm.
And I've been on when I was on Darth Choco's podcast, because I was on Darth Choco's podcast, But when I was on Darth Choco's podcast,
I have to go and find that.
Did you not know that?
I did not know that.
No, yeah. I made Choco, J. Kev Parker, and Matt Mellish. So, but we've always kind of like, there's always been something else there. So we've never really had a chance to. And obviously, Matt is very like G-rated content because he has a clear audience. Whereas if he comes here,
he's different.
He can let his hair down just a little bit. But
I've seen on Stud Buds, he sometimes opens up a little bit.
I feel it's like it's probably more because Zane. I feel like it's more, actually, they all trigger him in some way. But yeah, hopefully it'll all work out. Obviously, just the time difference, and it lands on, like, for you guys, I appreciate that it's like middle of the day and like totally breaks up your day. So, but all seems well that we'll have him on next Saturday. And I'm really hyped to have that conversation, really kind of that depth around like, look, you clearly have an audience in mind. You worked at Disney. You're clearly working towards something. Like, what is that path? How are you going to kind of materialize that? So very interested again in that. I doubt he'll have a drink with us, but that's fine.
That's super. I'm gonna watch that one. I'm not gonna lie. I've only like tuned in.
You mean you don't watch all of them, Ellie?
I might. Should I go back and just binge all of them?
Yes, please. I need the watched hours for my monetization. So yes, please. But yeah, no, it's all good. But now it's been unreal. So like obviously as we get down the line, and what I'm really keen to do as well going forward is getting people with contrasting views on. So like I don't want to start arguments, but I really want to get like different points of view on it to kind of create that conversation. And you know, Matt being one of them. So a lot of people may or may not know this, but Matt does not put stickers on his Lego sets because
neither do I.
Stickers. Do you not?
Yeah. Unless it's like a very specific sticker, I don't.
Okay.
Like I just built the Winnie the Pooh set and I put stickers on that because it's like it's more like decor rather than like I'm building Luke's X-Wing. I'm gonna put a dirt mark on it. I don't put I put stickers on mine.
Okay.
And if I do, I pretty much take them all off.
Well, in that note, I'll maybe get you on that one as well, because then to get the absolute flip of it on, SW Bricks and Figs, who's a British Lego. Well, he's not. He is on Lego TikTok, but he's more Lego YouTube and Instagram.
I think I follow him.
He's a good guy, but he does a lot of customization. So he does a lot of decals. So it's obviously like mirrors.
Yeah.
Opposite. So it'd be interesting to kind of have those guys on and have a chat and kind of bring you in as well. So that's the plan going forward. But yeah, it has been awesome, Ellie. Thank you, everyone. Next week is set up. Hopefully, we lock. Matt is all but confirmed. So hopefully we get that in because I'm desperate to speak to Matt and just kind of get into the realms of it all. And I feel like with Matt, we don't get enough. His knowledge and his love of Star Wars is a lot deeper than we see through his TikTok and all that. We only ever see the Lego side of it. So yeah, keen to get that on. But yes, please tune in. Everybody say bye-bye to Ellie.
Bye-bye. I am not going to lie, Liam. This gin and tonic has gone straight through my body and I need to run to the bathroom.
That's usually what happens. So, good. So yeah, everyone.
So fun, and I'm going to be back. I promise.
Cool. Look forward to it. See ya. See everyone.